Good morning, everyone. Going to start out with something special this morning. My granddaughter and I finally finished something that I wanted to have on our porch. And here it is. I hope you guys were able to see that. Now back to the table. She got here about 4:30, 4:45 this morning. And we ended up playing a game together, which is it's all these flowers and plants and cacti and I don't know what, and you have to get 3 of them, and they get just jumbled up, and it was fun to play that with the children. Yeah. Lots of fun. And then she's like, Chrissy, can we do more? We did some spray painting last night, or yesterday afternoon, in the afternoon. And she's like, can we finish that up? So I said, yeah, let's take that picture out and gloss it and finish it up so that it can handle, right, being outside. Yes, it's going to be under a roof on our porch on that farm. It'll look beautiful. All recycled materials. Yes. Including the paint and all that. Didn't have to buy 1 can of paint or 1 tube of paint or anything. It's really been really amazing. Well, anyway, so here we are. We're into another project. There's more spray painted here right now to finish up. Some Christmas ornaments. Yes, I want to make big stars with them. Well, stars, and then kind of make them look like poinsettias. Okay, well, anyway, all out of wood. Then I had saved up all these little jars from a yogurt, yes, glass, and we're making tea lights. I made some for my daughter, like this. See, tea light goes in here. I made 3 different ones. Here's another one. This is all recycled jewelry, and then, yes, aren't they cute? Well, anyway, so sets of 3, making 3 more for the other side. That'll be her birthday present. My daughter probably going to go, Mom. I'm going to go, what? If people are expecting Martha Stewart stuff from me, yeah, not happening. Anywho, I love that homemade stuff. And making it with the children is, so wonderful. Anywho, so it's been so much fun. I said, all of them are such little artists and just easy to please, right? I've not gone anywhere with them for the last 2 months. Nowhere. And the parents have, know that, but not me. I'm just here. I just realized I don't have my Bible out here. Sorry, guys, got to go and get back. Smells like spray paint out here. Okay, I'm back. Ugh. Yep, so we just found things to do around here. Also, there's another thing I just read up on. Wanted to know what that grass is that's growing out there. Turns out, I didn't know that. We don't have that up at the farm. Not that I've seen. This, some of you go, I know what that is. It's Johnson grass. Yes. Johnson grass, also in the family of the sorghum family. Sorghum, yeah. Ooh. And yes, you can make flour for baking out of this stuff. It's one of the reasons it's not very much liked, and farmers want to get rid of it, is because at a certain stage in their life, this is not good for cattle or any livestock that grazes. Yet, I always say this, on our farm we have things. We had things for the goats and we had things for the horses that we wouldn't want them to eat. And the only weed that I got rid of was Jimson weed, because there was suddenly so much of it. I definitely didn't want that to spread. Okay, that was the only one. Yes, it has medicinal purposes, but it's a type of drug. Okay, I'm not even going to go in there. Not a plant I wanted to mess with, and it was definitely brought into our property, right, with some hay most likely, and so I took care of that. It wasn't such a big deal. It took about 3 years, and then somebody didn't, while I wasn't there, didn't pay attention, and it took another couple of years. But I did it. So, but the one thing, our animals have plenty of room to graze this now. They're not going to go hungry. We have hay for them. We have feed for them. So they're not tempted. They're not starving. They're not that hungry that they will start eating something that naturally, somehow they know not to eat. Okay. So with Jimson grass, with Johnson grass, it's perfectly fine for cattle, for livestock to eat it, right? If it's still fresh, if it hasn't gone to seed and is already wilting and drying out, right? Yes. So there is that. And just saying, we may have that kind of grass growing too, but the horses and whatever else is there now is eating it faster than it can mature. Ta-da, right? So there's no need to get rid of Johnson grass, right? Yes. Well, anyway, so I went and read up, going, okay, well, if it's a problem for the animals, but perilla, for example, is also a problem for livestock. Okay, it attacks their kidneys. I guess if they eat too much of it, I'm sure a little bit won't hurt them. But again, it's a herb that none of the goats nor the horses ever touched. They would leave that alone. They don't eat it. So instinctively they know what not to eat. Interesting, right? Yes, and they won't eat it unless, again, your animals are starving. They're going to go for something, and yeah. Okay. But it's perfectly fine for humans. Doesn't do anything to humans. Right? Yes, doesn't attack our kidneys or this or that. None at all. Right? Yes. And the perilla, for example, is really pungent. It has a strong taste and smell. So one takes it in small dosages fresh anyway. And the tincture, I've taken so much of it, I've never shown any kind of problems with it, but it sure helps with the immune system. So the Johnson grass is kind of the same thing. Yeah, you can use it. It doesn't seem to have any kind of negative effect on people. Okay, from what I've read. I'll probably do a little bit more studying on it, but I definitely want to try it out and make some flour with it and see how that works. They say you can use it for baking, just like acorn mash. Okay, well, see, and I've got a field over there. Just have to go collect it now. Learn something new. Well, as I said, doesn't matter where I go, I always find, even in the city, I always find a harvest. Always. Doesn't matter where I go. Always a harvest ready for me. To learn more, substitute. Just amazing. I love it. All right, let's get going here. We're done with 6. We're on 1 Samuel 7. Okay, so let's see. They wanted to get rid of the ark, take it down. Okay, so 1 Samuel 7. The men of Kiriath Jearim came and taking up the ark of Yahweh. Oh, they came and picked it up. They didn't mind. Brought it to the house of Abinadab on the hill and consecrated his son Eleazar to guard the ark of Yahweh. That must be a different Eleazar, no doubt. Oh. I wonder why they chose Abinadab. Who is he? Samuel, judge and liberator. From the day when the ark was installed at Kiriath Jearim, a long time went by, 20 years, and the whole house of Israel longed for Yahweh. Oh? Samuel then spoke as follows to the whole house of Israel. If you are returning to Yahweh with all your heart, banish the foreign gods and Astartes which you now have, and set your heart on Yahweh and serve him alone, and he will deliver you from the power of the Philistines. Oh. And the Israelites banished the Baals and Astartes and served Yahweh alone. It took 20 years for Samuel to speak up. Wait, 20 years? Okay, until he had some kind of a standing in the community? Okay, I have no idea. I don't know. 20 years. And then here he comes and says, okay, this is what you need to do. And it just did it. Really? Oh, interesting. Oh. Samuel then said, muster all Israel at Mizpah, and I shall plead with Yahweh for you. So they mustered at Mizpah and drew water and poured it out before Yahweh. They fasted that day and declared, we have sinned against Yahweh again. And Samuel was judge over the Israelites at Mizpah. When the Philistines heard that the Israelites had mustered at Mizpah, the Philistine chiefs marched on Israel. And when the Israelites heard this, they were afraid of the Philistines. Now the Israelites are afraid of the Philistines. Before, the Philistines were afraid of the Israelites. I'm telling you what. This again, okay, let's just, no, I have to say it now. This again, what does this prove? What does this all prove? That the people are just using God for one fear factor or the other, right? And then when things aren't going so well, then they start to lament and, oh, this and that. Oh, now we want to be a part of God's, people again, this and that, right? Yes? But really, when it comes down to it, on either side, the Philistines or the Israelites, they're just doing against each other or for each other whatever they want. God is nowhere in these equations, right? Because it's a forth and back continuously. God's not like that. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? It's either you trust God, and God you trust, or you don't. If you trust God, then you're not going to flip-flop continuously, or lament continuously, or blame continuously someone else for your problems, or your fear, or what to expect or what not to expect. Yes, if you don't trust God, you're going to do whatever you want. Done? Because you don't believe in God. What I hear out of this, nobody believed in God. Their gods are much easier to deal with, it sounds like. Yes? Because probably they know they didn't exist. Well, anyway, deep down people know that when they are worshiping something false. They do, but it's a good excuse to, how's this? Anyway. They said to Samuel, do not stop calling on Yahweh our God to rescue us from the power of the Philistines. Oh, 20 years. It took 20 years for them to get to that point. Samuel took a sucking lamb and presented it as a burnt offering to Yahweh, and he called on Yahweh on behalf of Israel, and Yahweh heard him. Yep. Most likely he was always there. He was just waiting for someone to call upon him. While Samuel was in the act of presenting burnt offering, the Philistines joined battle with Israel. But that day Yahweh thundered violently over the Philistines, threw them into panic, and Israel defeated them. The men of Israel sallied out from Mizpah in pursuit of the Philistines. There you go again. Beat them all the way to below Beth-kar. Samuel then took a stone and erected it between Mizpah and the tooth, and gave it the name Ebenezer, saying, Yahweh helped us as far as this. So the Philistines were humbled and no longer came into Israelite territory. Yahweh oppressed the Philistines throughout the life of Samuel. The towns which the Philistines had taken from Israel were given back to Israel from Ekron all the way to Gath, and Israel freed their territory from the power of the Philistines. There was peace, too, between Israel and the Amorites. Samuel was judge over Israelite throughout his life. Each year he went on circuit through Bethel and Gilgal and Mizpah and judged Israel in all these places. Oh, interesting. He didn't just sit somewhere for people to come to him. Samuel actually went and made the rounds as what? A priest. Guiding the people. Is that why? Interesting. He would then return, let's see, to Ramah, since his home was there. There too he judged Israel, and there he built an altar to Yahweh. So the one thing that also comes to mind here, again, the last part, and there he built an altar to Yahweh. Now, they had the Ark of the Covenant, and it was still somewhere there, but interestingly enough, not with Samuel. Though Samuel did, grow up with it, I thought. Okay. It's interesting on how they are building altars everywhere for God, right? Here, there, everywhere. That's, again, in a way, something that God doesn't want. He gave them one central point. He gave instructions on how they would meet, once a year, twice a year, 3 times a year, all together. Then they have the 7-day feast of something, remember that one? And certain other things where you go to this one particular place and you take care of the problems, you take care of, done something, confession kind of thing, and judgment happens, this and that, right? Yes? But it seems like it was even before the ark was lost and then found again, kind of, that was happening with every kind of, this went really well, so let's build an altar here for Yahweh. But again, did that stop the Israelites from worshiping other gods? This and that? Maybe here comes Samuel after 20 years and says, hey, okay, so what, you're remembering God now? Oh, okay, so you want to get, all right, let's try, right? Yes. And then somehow Samuel got a foothold then to lead the people. And he did. Sounds like he did a really, really good job. Yes? Yet, again, what's the building of all these altars? Well, no different than churches and synagogues are being built. Exactly. Has it made a difference for people out there that you have all these places to go? Has it? What's your life look like? Your family look like? Has it made a difference? I just want to know. Going to church, I learned some things, this and that, but I learned more at home from my mom when it came to all that than I did in the church, anywhere. I can read the Bible at home. Families can read the Bible at home. You don't have to go to church for that. Yes? Well, but it is a place for people to go who need somewhere to find a foothold when it comes to faith, hope, trust in God. Yes? One could say more to that, right? I just have questions about that, on how that, in a way, right, also isn't necessarily God's ideal, on how we have God in our life. And it is as it is at this time. Yes? Hopefully someday, every home will be a church. Every family will be a church. Home for God. Yes? Where He is freely coming and going. Invited, just like a family member, at all times, 24/7. Yes? Okay. Yeah. there it is. That's what I have to share this morning. It's going to be a beautiful day. It's cool. It's going to get hot, but it's cool right now. The weather's just been, except for a few hot days, and even those, they have their purpose and reason. I'm going to go and tell God how to create the weather, or how things stay in balance. Just try to stay out of it. Oh, we got a tornado. There supposedly was a tornado warning out, but I didn't hear the siren or anything. And that's pretty loud here, so I would hear that. And about 2 hours, 3 hours later, I went to check to see if anybody needed to say something to me, because I was here with the children, parents. And here's my daughter saying, Mom, at 11:30, we were already upstairs making lunch, and then cookies. We make cookies. So there's a tornado warning out, so you better stay in the basement with the animals and the children. And we didn't know, had no idea. So we were up there, and it rained. I said, man, guys, it looks like it could hail. And we were all looking out, because just, man, it's really pouring. And then here we're making the cookies. They made the cookies. I just sat there and said, okay, you need this, 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 and this. How much of that, that, yes, yeah, there are the trays, get them ready, and I just sat the whole time. They made the cookies, yeah. Oh, that's so cool. They were good, too, chocolate chip. Man, I didn't know that. I've never put 2 cups of chocolate chips in cookies. But that was the Toll House recipe. 2 cups of, that would be such a waste for me if it were the neighbor boy brought, his mommy got all the stuff ready to make these cookies. So, well, anyway, so I'm like, well, I'll just go with the rest. 2 cups of chocolate chips and 1 batch of cookies. Man, that's a lot. Everything in excess. 1.5 cups of sugar, 3/4 of brown sugar, and 3/4 of white sugar. I'm looking at them, man, they're going to be sweet. Plus all them chocolate chips. 2 sticks of butter. Oh my gosh. No wonder my cookies taste a bit different than other people's. No way I'll put that much sugar in it and butter and I don't know what. Well, anyway, they turned out pretty good. They all liked them. I had 1. That's all I could stomach. Was 1. They're so sweet. Oh, no. My teeth start to hurt just thinking about it. All right. Well, anyway, so we did that, and we were upstairs completely oblivious that there was a tornado warning out there. And right away I thought, well, we were protected. Yep. I've no doubt, Spirit World, our heavenly parents, no problem. Just we got Danielle and the children up in the kitchen not knowing what's going on out there. So we'll just have it rain, cats and dogs. But no tornado. Ooh, and that's not a robin. What is that? It looks like it could be a cardinal. I got to trust the cardinal. Yeah, state bird of Kentucky. Yes, in God we trust. Kentucky. Danny said, we were making that together. Danny says, Gracie, the sparkles were supposed to be the stars on it. I said, well, those sparkles, there were probably about 500 on them. I said, well, you know what? I'm not going to worry about the other states. I said, I live in this one. And I'm going to try to take care of this state, be the best I can be in this state. Yes? And from what I've seen, the communities that I've been around, in God we trust. Yes. Yeah. So whatever else you hear about Kentucky, don't believe everything. Okay? And the few out there making a ruckus, yeah, got one in every family too, right? Yes, we got a few in every state too. It's just how it is. Pray for them. If you do come across them, hopefully you got some good guidance to give. That's what I do. Yeah, yes. And then that is that. Life goes on. Grateful to live. in a wonderful state like this. Yes. All right. God brought me to the right place. That's just how it is. Yes. Yes. Yeah. He even made sure I didn't leave. Who's more important? Me or them? Yeah, you're more important. God's more important than anything. It's just the way it is. Yes. All right. Beautiful day. Plants are growing like crazy. We got lots of tomatoes. Tomatoes are just taking over that whole bed, but we got bell peppers growing there too. My granddaughter loves bell peppers, so she's really excited. I planted them for her, of course. And the basil. The basil is just, whew. I made another pesto. It's a different type of pesto. I'm going to use it with, I'm talking about cooking. I still have some potatoes from the farm, and I'm just going to boil them a little bit. Then I'm going to put them with a little bit of oil in a pan and just saute them lightly. And then I'm going to throw some of that pesto on top of it. Yes. Oh, it's going to be good. Now I still have some zucchini that I need to use up, and that's going to be delicious. Now, I don't necessarily need to have meat with every meal or this or that, but if people would want to, I'm going, but that's not quite a complete meal for me. It is a couple of eggs, sunny side up, top of that. Mwah. Wonderful. Woo! And there is another meal. Yes, a good, healthy, delicious meal with herbs from the garden. And I can't wait to get home and see what my garden looks like. Yes, I still have a little time to go here. The children start school next week, but I'm going to keep taking care of my granddaughter, youngest granddaughter, for a little longer. Yes. Until that's all figured out, and then I'm going to go back home. It'll be fun too. I miss my dogs, Gus and Jake. I miss my piggies, Tinkle and Toot. I miss my horses, Maverick, Charlie, Sage. I miss my chickens. They're just so much fun to watch. And I miss Burlington, my cat. And I'm bringing home a new addition to the family, June. Yeah, I talked about that cat. She's, almost 10 years old now. And declawed in the front. Someone did that. My daughter took her in. But can't keep her because she has so many animals herself. And June needs a place where she's kind of by herself. She's really shy, most likely because without her claws, it's like she's so helpless and defenseless. Yeah, that's terrible when people do stuff like that to animals, and then not keep them for the rest of their lives, right? Yes. And keep them in an environment where they wouldn't have to worry about that. It's just awful. To me, this is just awful. I don't understand people like that. I just don't. And yes, not realizing what they're doing to someone else, even if it is just an animal. Yes. Awful. Anyway. But it's good. Samuel is trying to get the people back to what, right? Oh, and here they are. Right? Okay. Supposedly they didn't start that fight. Right? And somehow, suddenly, there's peace. It doesn't say a whole lot more. Again, the emphasis is on what? God guided the Israelites in war, and they won this time. Right? Yes? And then they were delivered again from the Philistines for many years. That's what the emphasis on it. in the whole story. Yet, I'd like to know how Samuel actually established that peace. And what did he actually do? What actually happened there? Right? We don't know yet. There's still more of Samuel, and then there's a second book of Samuel. So we'll find out more. What I do really like is that he did go out to find out and check and see what's going on with the people. And he did that regularly, right? Yes, most likely to see, are you falling back again to idolism? False gods, are you? Are you? Right? Yes. Yeah. So it sounds like Samuel really, his heart to mind was in the right place, right? And also, interestingly enough, he was a good leader. A natural born leader? Sounds like it. Yes. We need more of those. Yep. That's it for today. God's love and blessings always. May He protect you, and I will talk to you another time.